Hello, friends. Have you tried what may be the most powerful antioxidant known to man? C60 PurplePower. My C60 story has led me to great health mentally and physically. It's helped me personally lose weight, have more energy, and fight aging in general. You can also get C60 for your pets. Our dogs love it. They may live forever. Go check out C60 for yourself. If you use the link right in the description, you're going to get 10% off your order plus free shipping. They have some incredible new products like gummies, oils, and much more. Now, enjoy this episode. Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Doenut. First, a few announcements. Watch the Forbidden documentary, Occult Louisiana, right now on Tubi. We have begun production on our second film, Doorways of Perception. If you would like to help with our fundraiser, we have links for you right in the description, or you can visit supportfkn.com. Anything is so greatly appreciated. You can also help by getting a Rokfin premium membership. Just go to rokfin.com/FKN+. You'll get access to all our premium content and all the premium content from every creator on Rokfin. You can also download our episodes directly through our podcast provider, Spreaker. That's always easy and free for you. We have links for that in the description as well. Finally, booking guests for June. If you have suggestions or you would like to be a guest, email me, forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome Doenut. He is a researcher and host and creator of Doenut Factory and Doenut Factory Podcast. Doenut, welcome. How you doing?
Yo, what up? I'm doing good. It's Doenut. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm excellent, man. Thank you so much for coming on. This is going to be fun. I love what you do on your show. I love to get weird today, so what we're doing today has been a while, but we're going to once again visit the delicious conspiracy buffet. We explore all of our favorite trending or even classic conspiracies. Now, if you've been following the show lately, you know that I've become a bit jaded when it comes to many conspiracies and the truth movement in general. But even though these realms have been heavily infiltrated and tainted, there are still conspiracies unfolding as we speak that are completely valid. Now, this is a challenging time for people that have been around a while presenting this information, but there are still ways to navigate through it. And we're going to try today. Now, before we dig into the buffet, Doenut, this is your first time on. Tell us all about yourself and your content.
Oh, well, I'm a big fan of conspiracy content. I'm just a fan. I just be listening to podcasts from all the greats, and what I did was I wanted to be a comedian, a video editor, a music video editor. And while I was doing behind the scenes video production for big, like, conservative news channels, learning about geopolitics and whatnot, well, there's a lot of time spent editing alone, and so I would listen to all the conspiracies. That's what I did. It wasn't something I was going to pursue or wanted to pursue. It was just a passion of mine and all I did. And then when the world locked down, I was one of the first people to be out on the internet talking about what's going on symbolically back in 2019. And I got the receipts to show that. The social credit scoring system has really made it difficult for me and many others, not just me, not to be self-pity victim or anything, but this is coming for everybody on a more tyrannical level. So I think it's important to talk about the demonetization, the censorship, and whatnot like that. So what I do now is I have a good time. I try to not stay jaded looking into these things, but expand on the research of all the people that I pay homage to, learning from them and expanding on it because not every one researcher has all the answers. Not me, not no one.
Right
Yeah.
on. How have you been navigating the censorship as everything has been unfolding? It's been difficult for us. We lost our YouTube channel. At times it seems like our podcast is being fucked with. I don't know what to think about any of it. I have hope that one day things will balance out and maybe these types of topics that we're talking about will not be as quote unquote dangerous to the powers that be. But I don't know. How have you been navigating through everything?
Oh man, it's very difficult. I guess by surrendering over to spirituality, that's my thing. That's how I handle
Mm,
life. There's a lot of stuff we have no control over. Trying to navigate through these systems is you kind of have to be smarter than the beast system. You got to be smarter than the AI, tiptoe, and even though I do that, it doesn't work. I that's a great question. I kind of bring it back to the only two things I can control are my attitudes and my action. Everything else I'm powerless over. So knowing that's wisdom and trying to stay grounded in that. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'm thinking about making
yeah.
mixtapes. And like had a dumb out, but who has a DVD player
Right.
these days?
Right on, man. Yeah, we're in interesting times for sure. Now, you cover a lot of symbolism and celebrity fuckery that's going on out there. There's been some interesting things happening lately. It's not a good time to be a high level elite celebrity pedophile right now. There's a lot of sacrifices happening, a lot of information coming out. The veils are being lifted. What do you think about everything that's happening in Hollywood and our entertainment industry and music industry and everything that we're seeing right now?
Well, a lot of the predictive programming that's happening right now is about an apocalypse. It's about the crushing of society, whether that's the new Fallout show,
Mm.
where the main chick is from Vault 33, which seems very symbolic, and she's in blue and yellow, which is also symbolic of masonry. And it's just all over the place. All these collapsing films. Civil War is full of symbolism in that. It's a total leftist movie as well, because from my research, from listening to other researchers who've done way more work than me. I mean, these people that we're reading about, these books, they spent their entire lives researching these topics, and we get to get them and add on to them. It's cool, but a lot of it goes into this communist, socialist type leftist programming, and it doesn't matter which religion, which political side. It seems to be that's the religion, and you can see it in these films. Even Korea, they make the best films right now. I'm a huge like fan of Korean filmmaking because they haven't been brainwashed by the political correctness. They work really hard on their films, but I can see some propaganda in their films as well for their society. I'm an American, so our programming is different than other cultures. What I notice is the South Korean culture, they're very all about scholarship, like learning and respecting the elders. And I can see in their films, they're moving them away from that. although the films are so creative and whatnot, and them questioning the authority figure may be a good thing. I don't know, but I can see it creeping into their films. But they got a new movie coming out, and it's about the end of the world. Everything's about the collapse of society. I feel like that's the programming happening now.
Yeah, it seems.
I know that has nothing to do with what you just said about all the diddlers
Well,
out there.
we'll still get to that, but it does seem like there's an
Oh,
apocalyptic playbook that is being put forward as, hey, this is going to happen, and it's based off of biblical prophecy, and this is happening now, and it's trying to put in the mass consciousness. I believe it's a part of a fear factor, it's part of a programming thing, so that we, in a way, manifest this Armageddon or this apocalyptic outcome that they're hoping to put forward, right?
yeah. What is it? Like they're talking about zombies for so long. It's definitely spooky. Whatever
Well, it seems
they
like
got
whatever they're
planned,
trying,
but
it's like failing miserably right now. It seems like nobody is latching on to the power plays and the fear events and the false flags that are being pumped out one after the other. It seems like they're just throwing everything out there to see what sticks right now. And I'm hopeful. People, to me, seems like a lot of people are coming around and just not participating with the bullshit.
oh, that's good that you're hopeful. It's all about having
Yeah.
hope. I'm very my hope is it's very jaded, like you were saying, for
Yeah.
society and humanity. If it, but that doesn't mean I don't have hope for. Hope is the best thing. Even in that movie Hunger Games, there's that line about hope. How he's all like, "Yo, you can't have them have hope because that's like." So it's important to have hope for sure. So that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Do you think all these celebrities that are being outed right now were always there so that they could be a sacrificial lamb at some point, and they were just being used as puppets to just gain more power and control for those above them, the ones we don't know their names?
It's all about the people we don't know their
Yeah.
names. Like we get told all these names, but we don't know who are the people that hired these people. You know, we're not going to know their names for sure. Uh, Maybe we could. There's some people that have connected some, lineages going back to the Hammurabi Code and whatnot. But I haven't really dived down that too much. But the symbolism's crazy in these films. So this new Civil War movie, the cover of it is this guy with like hair, crazy hair, holding a boom, bam, bam. And his nail polish is blue and pink. And this was during the UFC fight 300. This is how I think the whole simulacrum works is that they push everything at once instead of one radio show. Back in the day, we had one radio show or three channels or like a couple newspapers. And those couple newspapers, the news channel, these three like devices would tell us everything to believe. And everyone believed it. Now we got to have it hit on so many different levels because there's so many podcasts, so many shows, so many things. So the programming goes even on our like food products like Mountain Dew and Monster Energy drink. So the new Monster Energy drink at the UFC is this pink and blue colors, which are cool colors. Like I got like my like artists be doing like cool like my artists, we all about like cool colors
Yeah.
and stuff. And like I'm donut and that's like the color of a donut. So now I'm like, oh dang it. Uh because the symbology goes so deep. But the way the simulacrum works is that they hit us on so many different levels through these different color codings or symbols. And this UFC fight 300, it was UFC 300, which was interesting because it was going on during the World War III stuff happening over the weekend. And I think Iran launched 300 missiles during the UFC 300. And then there's that
Huh.
movie 300, which kind of has the same vibe, I think, of this small country, which would be like Israel, like Sparta 300 versus this big empire. So I feel like that was all kind of in the simulation. And during that program, there was a national emergency test alert, not in America, but in the Middle East. So you'd have to be in the Middle East to even see that. So this new South Korean film, I'm jumping
It's
all
all
over the
good.
place, but this new South Korean film that's coming out on the 26th, Goodbye Earth, it starts off the trailer with this emergency text alert. It's all like this emergency text alert is super important. And Joe Biden, he sent one out at 2:18, right? And this is, I believe, telling the elite
Mm.
something. So when Hawaii sent out their text alert at 8:08 a.m. about 3 years ago, well, 3 years later or so, on 8:08 in the 8:08 area code, Lahaina went up into flames and they had an emergency alert. But they couldn't get the alerts out because I guess they shut off the internet. But Joe Biden sending this alert at 2:18, it's a date I'm looking out for,
Mm.
2:18, which could be read in so many different ways.
It
But
seems
yeah.
like there's layers to this symbolism and synchromysticism as it appears to us. There seems to be a layer that is controlled completely, that higher levels are completely aware of, that they're putting these symbols in for this reason, a signal to something or someone or some event. And then there's another layer, I believe, that no one controls. Maybe it's this etheric energy that, or imaginative plane, that people working on projects or producing movies will have the idea to put this in there, and it's something prophetic, but it just connects to this maybe energetic information, this energy field or information field that surrounds us at all times, that is plugging in, or people are latching onto it somehow and bringing forward that information into different films, and even maybe Masonic construction and premonitions and things of that nature. But I think that there's many levels to it. There's the layers that are people aware of, and then there's something else happening.
Yeah, I'm going back to the 90s, watching the music videos of the 90s, like Black Hole
Mm.
Sun and all the Sampaku eyes and the demon faces. Tupac is trending right now. And if you look at the cover of Tupac's albums or a lot of his photos, he has the lower underneath Sampaku eyes. And this is how I was able to accurately predict the UFC fight of who was going to win or lose through the poster of the symbology of the eyeballs, of the three whites underneath the eye, which means that it's stress, danger might be coming their way. That doesn't mean that if you have them that you're screwed, but it's
Mm.
symbolism, I believe. And in the 90s, the Sampaku eyes, which are the three whites, that's what Sampaku means. It's like when you're going crazy and your eyes are up like that and you could just see the three whites at the
Mm.
top. That's what Sampaku means. And in the 90s, they had the more psychopathic Sampaku eyes of somebody like going crazy, but it's in all the music videos and it's like all over the place. And a lot of these artists who have a demise, or a boxer or a fighter with a demise, has them
Huh.
underneath. So I'm looking out for this because today, is Selena's birthday. Rest in peace, Selena, which means the moon. And they just released her album, The Moon Child, which goes into
Oh,
Aleister
wow.
Crowley's Moon Child. And she died on a new moon. And astrologically, that's when you plant the seed, in a sense, the new moon. And then the full moon is when it comes to fruition. And that was an eclipse the day after she died. And there's this eclipse ritual with a lot of people. I've got the pattern recognition of it all. I hope I'm not vomiting
No,
so much. I'm just hungry with this
that's
buffet
all
and I'm
good.
throwing
There was
everything.
a lot of symbolism leading up to the eclipse, and a lot of people were quote unquote disappointed that there wasn't a rapture or a major event that was associated, but there really never seems to be with any of these hyped up end of the world type of massive events that occur throughout our history that people build up that something could possibly happen, and nothing really happens on the surface. But I'm wondering energetically if it's symbolic and something is happening in these astral realms or in different energetic ways that we just don't understand.
Oh man, you crushing it, bro. That's exactly what's happening. It's a psychological, scientific technocracy that we're dealing
Mm,
with that it might not even be human. It could be just AI, and that could be some sort of entity. Who
yeah, yeah,
knows, controlling people. But they give us they give us cathartic experiences. That's what football is all about. That's what the Roman gladiator games are all about. That's what the movie The Purge is all about. These films of the apocalypse is a cathartic experience. Going to a haunted house, going to watch a sad movie or a funny show. These are having these experiences emotionally, to let some of the air out. That's the whole movie of The Purge. Is let's go have everybody break all the laws and uh, be savages for 24 hours on 322.
right.
Coincidentally, that's like the purge date, and then you'll feel better and you'll be good. Um, but there's some truth to that though as well, because we live in a very narcissistic, unnatural environment. And what narcissism is, according to Alexander Lowen, who was the protege of William Reich, who was arrested by the US military and put into prison and pretty much killed in prison, and all of his books were burned, uh, as well, in America. That's crazy, and I'm not saying that all of his stuff is correct or whatnot. It's just that narcissism, what Alexander Lowen was talking about, is the killing of the self. And what that means is cutting off emotionally who you are. And that's how robots are. So robots, they get rid of their inner diet, like their inner feeling, their inner dialogue, being self-aware, like, yo, this ticks me off, or oh wow, this makes me feel this way. And if you're not aware of how you are feeling, then it's hard to see if you are being manipulated by uh, agents of the deep state, I guess
Mm,
it would be called, like the CNN and all this, um, or Fox News, emotionally pimping the world through fear tactics to get us reactive. This is nothing but a sales technique. It's what pimps do to their
mm,
hoes. They they beat the hoe until she thinks she gonna die, and
yeah,
then through that fear she'll be loyal.
right.
That's seriously what, like in the books, and I think that's what Snoop Dogg's spiritual advisors. That's what Snoop Dogg's spiritual advisors
Yeah,
say.
it's all
Which,
based on MK Ultra tactics. They've been implementing these on the masses for a very long
yeah,
time now. And what's concerning to me about all of what you said is technology and AI has taken over for these people in dictating what some of these things that create culture is going to be visible for people, and when and how. But through social media, AI controls most of what we see through social media and on the internet right now, and it's controlling algorithms that dictate censorship. So everything is being turned over to this unseen force, this AI, this technology that is now pretty much running the show when it comes to controlling what we see and interact with online. And that to me is pretty terrifying. Hello, friends. If you or a loved one has been struggling with a chronic or complex health problem and have been disappointed with the level of care available, get in touch with my friend Christian Yordanov by booking a free intro call. He is a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and author of 2 health books. He was on the show recently to discuss his latest book on longevity, How to Actually Live Longer, Volume 1. He has worked with clients with severe gastrointestinal problems, toxicity, and debilitating chronic fatigue. He's helped people with autoimmune conditions, hypothyroidism, skin disorders, autism, multiple sclerosis, obesity, and other metabolic conditions. And he can help you restore your health so you can get back to living your life to the fullest. He works with clients remotely all over the world and uses state-of-the-art functional lab testing to help uncover gut and hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, and other underlying factors contributing to health problems. Coupled with his thorough client intake and metabolic function assessment, he'll design truly customized protocols that will help you address the roots of your health challenges. If you're tired of suffering conflicting health advice and frustrating trial and error, and you're ready to transform your life, Christian will teach you how to restore and optimize your health by improving your gut function, detoxification system, nutrition, supplementation, sleep and light hygiene, and of course reducing psychological and physiological stress in your body. He'll give you all the tools and knowledge you need to create lasting health and vitality. Remember, symptoms, disease, and dysfunction do not occur randomly in the body. Every effect has a cause. Understanding the causes allows you to change the effects. This is the power of the functional health paradigm that Christian will help you implement. So if you've been suffering with gut problems like constipation, gas, bloating, pain, or you're battling burnout, chronic fatigue, you have mood issues, brain fog, low libido, poor sleep, or you're having trouble losing weight and taking control of your cravings, diet, and routines, there are solutions. Book your free intro call with Christian using the link in the description to discuss your situation and see how he can help you transform your health.
But the thing is how long has this been in operation for, right? So the governments have 10 years in advanced technology.
You think it's only 10?
Than we know. No, I think it's thousands of years. But this is for, somebody who, is listed.
Just getting into it.
No, they're way more advanced, But let's just say they're only 10 years in advance in technology, which is something that is,
still,
plausible.
That's unforeseen now because everything's progressing so extremely fast. We don't know what we're going to have tomorrow. So even 10 is plenty.
Right. So like the lockdowns, that was all implemented. ChatGPT, all these AI systems, AI in numerology is 19. So it's AI 19. The 19 is like all over the place. So not just like color coding symbolically, symbols, but also numbers are symbolic as well. So this 19 number is huge. I mean, that's the number of the lockdown. And there's just so much to it. But that's AI. So AI was activated during this. And I believe that the AI tells the people in power, like an Elon Musk, if you post this, systematically, the engagement is showing you'll be liked. Okay, so post this meme. Okay, so systematically, it says that if you post this meme, people will like this cryptocurrency more so than any other crypto. So post this cryptocurrency. Okay. And this is slowly leading everybody into the new smart city blockchain future.
Right. Do you think that this is all a top-down power pyramid? I've had so many different perspectives come through this show, some believing that there is one control system that has many different wings and many different tentacles, but it's all part of the same system that's going to hope for the same outcome of humanity. And some believe that there are different factions that have completely different ideas of where they want humanity to go, and they're battling it out right now at the top, throwing out different layers of symbolism and false flags and operations to try and dictate their different outcome.
Man plans, God laughs. So that's where my school of thought is that I think that this is a spiritual thing happening with forces that are way above our pay grade, I guess. There's something going on in the spiritual world. That's what I think. And I think for humans can kind of hijack that. For example, leadership. You can be promoted as a manager. You're in a leadership position, right? That would be like the second level of leadership. People are following you because you are appointed a position of power. Another position of power would be like a government coming in with the military. Well, you're going to have to do what we say because it's forceful, or just a gangster or something like that, going in and saying, yo, you do what I tell you to do, kind of thing. That is another power position, which is the lowest form of power. That is layer 0, layer 1, I guess, of power. But the most powerful is somebody who is influential. Should I say a social media influencer or something like that? But it's the character of a person. This is the top leadership position, is somebody who people want to be led by, somebody who is influential enough to be like, yo, and Machiavelli talked about it, is through skill, right? Skill, if you could get to the power position through skill and people want to, without money or without being paid to follow them, or fear to follow them, like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared of this person, that would be the highest level position of power, in my opinion. But that's why the Illuminati hires people like Kanye, hires people like Jay-Z, hires people like Beethoven, hires influential figures that can lead society in the way that they want them to be led. I'm going all over the place there with it. Right. What was the question? We eating out of buffet.
Yeah,
right
man,
now.
we digging in. It was just about AI and the level of control that it dictates, and maybe where we're headed with everything with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that's why I was talking about them 3 layers of power positions, and then there's the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, God's always going to win, but we also are here on this earth, and we can take action. If you have faith without taking action, that's pointless. You got to take the action as well. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's all good, man. Well, right now you're 100% right. It is a spiritual war, and the main target, I believe, has been the younger generations right now. Because people our age and older, there's a lot of us that are stuck in our belief and our knowing that this is a corrupt system and it needs to be destroyed, and I don't want to be a part of it. But the younger generations, they still have this malleable type of mind where they can control it, especially if they pumping them full of pharmaceuticals and drugs and getting them hooked on social media. I mean, you've seen some of these videos of kids that have their iPad taken away and destroy the home, or they have their phone taken away and they're still scrolling, nothing in their hands. This is very concerning. I'm part of the reason I'm very glad I don't have children, but it makes me very concerned for those who do have children, and my hat's off to them, because this is a very difficult time for the younger generations. And I saw you recently did a video about millennial NPCs. And to me, there's some truth to that. They're trying to make zombies out of this younger generation, right?
Yeah, I'm one of them, bro. Sometimes I'm on my phone so much that my hand starts hurting. It's seriously like we are in the transhumanism
Yeah.
era. It's absolutely crazy. And it's something about the
Yeah.
light. Something about the light. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like and share the video out. But you're listening to long form content. And sometimes people, don't even watch the video. They just listen to it or watch it, but it's long form content. This is the future. If you want to, have your kids be in the power position, is to have them have a longer um, attention, to sit and meditate and chill. And by listening to these podcasts, I think that is sort of better than these, a lot better than just the TikToks
Yeah.
and whatnot. But yeah, it's I think that's the big thing. If you could train yourself to kind of just sit for a minute and just chill for a minute and do nothing, and then the next day for 2 minutes, then the next day for 3 minutes, that is really good. Our human connection will be huge in the future. It'll be one of the biggest businesses is probably somebody that'll look you in the eyes and hug you or talk to you or be real. Because there's something with truth. If you just speak truth, people are going to vibrate with it. Uh, and I'm all about the truth and honesty and whatnot. And so if you want to be a truth seeker, everyone says they're a truth seeker. Yeah, but they're all on some sort of drugs. How truthful is that? You're not 100% sober. Then how are you being truthful? I'm not saying that there's not a time and place for that. But me, I lived in addiction for so long in the fog. The rat, the cat, the dog. How you gonna see it when you living in the fog? The DMX song. When you're living in the fog, which I did for most of my life, is that's not being truthful. Because, and there's a lot of big influencers to tie it back on social media, huge. I mean, and they are on some sort of mind altering chemical. So how truthful is, I don't know. I think that this whole truth thing, and also the truth of how are you feeling? Am I sad? Am I angry? What are my feelings of whatever's going on? People block that out. They kill themselves and they become a narcissist through that way. So, I mean, there's a lot of recovery is a lifelong journey. Nobody gets recovered. It's a lifelong journey of recovery. And that's the direction I move in.
Well, I want to go back to a second to the concept of the NPC. I personally believe that no one on this planet can truly be an NPC unless they're a clone or a cyborg or something like that. But I think that there's always a level of connection that we always have, because I think anybody can come back online and rejuvenate that connection to source at any time, no matter how deep and dark they've gone and gotten involved with the dark side. I think that can always be reactivated, if you want to put it that way. So what is happening now is, I think, an attempt to completely sever that from people. And even though I don't think that's possible, these people, I think they do, and I think that that's their goal, is to have as many people on this planet severed from that connection so that we rely on their technology, on their protection, on their everything. We used to have these consciousness abilities, our ancient ancestors, to talk to each other through our mind, maybe even levitate stones, all these incredible things that we've lost due to our lack of interaction with nature and connection to source and things like that. And then technology comes along and knocks it even further out of our consciousness. And I think that's the attempt, the continued attempt to sever that connection to what we call source. What do you think?
Yeah, anybody could get tapped into it I mean, people do it all the time when they say
Yeah,
help,
yeah.
right? When they got the fox, they help me. Oh my God, what the heck going on? I had to get emergency dental work done yesterday. My whole face started
Oh
swelling
man.
up, and I go up in there, and the lady's like, "Yo, you should take care of this because you can die from like tooth infections and stuff." And I got scared, so I was like, "Oh my God, help me!" And then I'm like in the dentist chair, and I'll just say, thy will be done over and over again, and like let go and have faith, which is very hard because uh even though I have tons of experiences of God taking care of me, I still want to take the power back, where I'm in control and not God's in control. And that's all fear. So it's like a daily thing to surrender to the spiritual realm, and but anybody could get tapped into it. I've had so many God shots is what I like to call them, but these experiences that can't be a coincidence. Like, what is the coincidence of this certain thing happening at this certain time? Just little things like
Mm.
that happen all the time when you're consciously aware, or if you're looking for it. Once you start seeing patterns and you just start waking up to stuff, you can see that there's God in everything. Some people are like, yo, it's a simulation. I don't know what the heck it is, but there is definitely a higher power presence in the world, at least in my
Mm.
experience.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the high strange woo woo that people encounter and experience, and some of the things that's coming out now in our mainstream with quote unquote UFOs and UAPs. We are in a very unique time where this is being covered to the extent it is, and to the levels of congressional hearings and the ways that it's been presented so far. So it's interesting, but it's, to me, I have this intuitive knowing that it's all bullshit because I've had my own spiritual experiences. I've had my own quote unquote contact experiences. And I have a knowing through my experiences that this is a spiritual metaphysical phenomena, and they're not little green men coming to stick things in my butt from a different planet. Maybe for you, but not for me, not through my experiences. And many of the people that have come on my show and shared their quote unquote abduction or contact experiences, I look back at the similarities amongst them all, and aside from the ones that I believe are truly being abducted by military personnel and being put through these horrible projects, I think most people are having consciousness experiences, altered dream states, astral experiences where they are coming into contact with intelligences or something you might call an extraterrestrial, but it's more of a interdimensional. It's more of a mystical type of experience where these intelligences are communicating with you personally for a reason. Whether it's a selfish reason for them, whether it's to help you, that's for you to decide. But I think that's what we're really looking at with the extraterrestrial phenomena. But what the mainstream media and government is trying to do is build it up so they can, of course, have some exotic tech and war weapons rolled out and keep us in fear that one day we might have an alien invasion and they're going to really come here and stick things in our butts. Where are you on all that?
Well, I hope they take me out on a date
Yes,
before
please.
they do that. But the whole UFO alien thing, there's a lot of psychological
Yeah.
operations happening throughout that. And you can look into Edward Lansdale. That is crazy rabbit hole right there, where this guy was studying like these different vampires out in the Philippines and reenacting them in his military, in which we can see that's where this whole cow mutilation thing happening. The people that are in power, that want to create this new world society, I guess would be a good way to
Mm.
say it, to beat the algorithm, is to get us there would be a climate kind of catastrophe. That's why that's pushed so heavily, or an alien invasion. This is written about, spoken about to bring in the new socialist societies. Uh, that's those are the two things that are going to be utilized. And you can see there's a big connection to it. So at UNESCO, where these aliens are coming out of in the Mexican Congress, that was the big story. Well, UNESCO was created by Julian Huxley, Aldous Huxley's brother, Darwin's bulldog's nephew, so you could see that whole crazy lineage right there. But he also created the World Wildlife Fund, and you'll see that anything with aliens is going to be connected to climate as well.
Yes.
So in the Hollywood films, you'll see that the snow melts and then the aliens come out of the ground because we're using too much gasoline in the car. So right there's a political conspiracy happening, not to discredit people having some spiritual experiences. So each different plant, for example, that people take, they'll see certain machine elves maybe, or they might see the green man, which is connected to like peyote or something. So people have these experiences where they all see the same thing, or an experience where everyone prays to maybe the same God and has some sort of experience too. So there is something be crack-a-lacking up in the cosmos, because there's these experiences that keep on happening. So there's the people in the government abducting people, which is on record. You know what I mean? And then there's real experiences of pattern recognition of people taking different plants and seeing the same things. And then there's money too. Like Ancient Aliens money, like get on the Disney Channel, make millions, it didn't, there's like all these, so the whole alien UFO thing, I would say 99% of it is a psychological operation, and that 1% of it is like people like you're
now saying. I can't say much about this, but I would be on the lookout in the very near future to see that Gaia TV is going to be in a lot of trouble for a lot of things. There's some things, I can't talk about it. I know a couple of people involved with Gaia TV that are confiding in me because they're being somewhat attacked, and all kinds of crazy stuff is coming out about what Gaia really does and what they're really about. I can't say anymore, but it's going to get interesting. Grab your popcorn when it comes to some of this stuff. The whole UFO community is about to be outed, in a huge way.
Well, it's connected to the Rockefellers, the Clintons as well. So right there, you can see that whole connection. You should talk to Matt Ehret about it. Or look at Matthew Ehret wrote a fantastic article called MK Ultra, Rockefellers, UFOs. What do they have in common? And that just like.
I've had a guest on the other day, Daniel Rekshin, and he does dream research, and he tries to connect it to the contact experience, and he believes what we're dealing with at times with genuine experiences, if they come out to be some sort of contact with an extraterrestrial or a gray alien, that a lot of it may be egregores or thought forms that were put into our mind through years of programming. Things like The Alien on Communion, some of the more profound Hollywood movies that people absorb. And he even said that the researchers like Bud Hopkins, their research is so really powerful and profound and at times terrifying when they put this stuff out there, that it gets into the people's minds. And then when they dream at night or they have some sort of astral experience, they'll come into contact with this collective gray alien egregore that really took on a life of its own, but it's based on our own imagination. What do you think about that?
Oh, for sure. Like that happened to me, bro. Like when I had this dream, or was it real? I don't know what the heck it was, but it happened, where there was these mantis aliens, and they were traveling through the Wi-Fi system, I think. and they were operating on me, and I was looking down at them operating on me. And this was when I wasn't sober. And it was a dream I had. Or was it? I don't know. I think it was a dream
Yeah.
maybe, but they're operating on me and I wasn't scared. I didn't have fear. It wasn't a scary thing. I was like, oh, okay, for sure. Like it was good. And then I woke up, but I forgot about the dream until I was like a few years sober. And then I was like, oh man, I had this crazy dream. You know how you
Yeah.
forget about a dream, but then you remember it? You're like, well, that was kind of weird. And I told my friend about it, and he says multiple people had this same experience. And then we were looking at images, and I'm like, dude, that was exactly what I saw. Other people also had it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then there's some prominent researchers too that I really respect who talked about it as well. And I was like, whoa, so I called them the Wi-Fi mantises. Uh, but I feel like maybe they were doing some kind of surgery on me, soul surgery for me to get sober or something. I don't know.
It's very
But
interesting,
yeah.
especially what's happening with the changes in people's perception right now. I had a guest. Have you ever heard of Vicky Joy Anderson? She wrote the book They Come Out at Night. It's about sleep paralysis. Well, anyway, she came on
Oh,
my show and she has a very unique perspective about what's happening at times with sleep paralysis, and she attributes to some of the experiences to exotic military technology at times, that there are people being targeted and they have the technology to basically control people's dreams, and like this voice to skull type technology, frequency technology, where she's had reports of people's sleep paralysis experiences changing and evolving over the past 10 years to more technological entities that they're being introduced to. And it seems like the experiences are having a technological landscape instead of having this dreamy elf strange creatures or biological entities or shadow people. It's now this technological, everything's wired, and these things look like cyborgs communicating with people during their either terrible dream experiences or sleep paralysis or things like that. So I found that very interesting, and she believes that that could be attributed to either people's interactions with technology or something more nefarious.
yeah, that's dope. I'll have to check that out. That's wild. I think that that's happening now with
Hmm.
AI. So like AI, how like it's being rendered and how it moves, it kind of is like when you're like just daydreaming and imagining how everything just continuously just keeps moving. Like the AI, when it makes videos, it's kind of like that. I'm working on a project with Paranoid
Yeah, right
American,
on.
and he makes these AI
Yeah.
videos, and then I'll edit them. And it's interesting because today I woke up and I don't know, something about my thoughts like in the morning. I got some like great connections. Like right when I wake up, I'm like, oh, this will connect to this and this. And that was something I was thinking about today. But the only reason I was thinking about that is because I'm editing these AI videos, and now I can see that slipping into my imagination is like that patterning. I also heard that people don't really dream about cell phones, and I think that was kind of weird. I was like,
Oh, wow.
dang, yeah, no one that really dream. You can, like people have, but like the majority of people, cell phones aren't in their dream. Like that's weird. Like why is
Yeah,
that?
man. I hear more and more reports from people that say slight changes in their reality are occurring when they wake up each new day. There may be something that has slightly shifted or changed that wasn't that way before, and they can't understand how or why it's happening. And I think people's perceptions are changing. And I give this example. I gave it the other day. I went to a grocery store 2 weeks ago, same grocery store I live a couple of blocks from, and I view it as a certain way. I really didn't look around much, but as my awareness opens and my perception changes, I pay attention to more things. And I went again the other day to this same grocery store, and it looked like a completely different store. Although they had made no changes to it, no construction, I was noticing it in a completely different way. And I realized, I just never paid attention to this before. So I think that that's part of what's happening right now with people's global awareness is as more things are coming out in this community and from shows like ours, people are starting to become aware of more of these things, and then it changes their perception, and it has this 100th monkey effect, right?
Bro, for sure. Great call. Connect with the 100
Mm.
monkey effect. Yeah, yeah. It's the reticular activation system, the RAS in the prefrontal cortex, I believe, in the brain, where when you want to purchase something, you start seeing that
Yes.
product everywhere when you never saw it before. So there's something to that too. So I don't know. That's wild.
How do
Yeah.
you feel about what's unfolding with our financial systems and this reality that seems to be constantly teetering on the edge of a cliff, and with constant threats of a global crash and global chaos that would soon follow after this financial situation that is constantly looming but constantly never happening to the extent we think it's going to happen? How do you see this unfolding?
Well, I've been looking at the symbols of the dollar, the Eye of Providence. I was talking about the Sampaku eyes in the beginning a little bit, how underneath means that there's troubles coming its
Yeah.
way. And symbolically, or at the top, it's like I'm going crazy. And the Eye of Providence on the dollar bill, it's got the Sampaku eyes underneath, which I just noticed. And I'm like, dang. Uh, so was that like just calling for the collapse? The symbolism on the dollar is absolutely nuts, and the symbolism of crypto is absolutely nuts as well. So on the back of the dollar is a pyramid, which has 72 bricks, which is the tetrakhits in gematria. You write the name of God, and then it equals 72 within this pyramid. If you look up Bitcoin in gematria, just like how their gematria is on the dollar bill pyramid, the tetrakhits, if you look at that in Bitcoin, Bitcoin and gematria equals 72 as well. And on the 72nd day, Bitcoin hit $72,000. So like there's symbology going into the new system of blockchain, USDC, all that, USDC,
Yeah.
CBDC. Yeah. We could see it with the Cash App guy, the symbology there, PayPal, or even FedNow is an Ouroboros. So I'm always looking at the symbolism. But the main thing is that you got the Alpha president, George Washington, the first president, in an Omega logo. So it's the Alpha and the Omega. And Omega is the 24th letter of the Greek alphabet. It's the last letter, and we're in the year 2024. So I think that there is a connection to all of this, for a collapse of the currency. I mean, it's already collapsed. Like we're like in inflation, the
Right,
inflation
right,
going to
right.
get worse and worse. We're about to hit a commodity super cycle, it looks like, through pattern recognition of every 12 years or something. Like the last commodity super cycle was in 2012, the year of the dragon. We're in the year of dragon now, and we can see gold's at all-time high. We might be seeing oil hit like $10 because of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz and in the Middle East and whatnot. And it's all bringing us into some new system. And me and you, we grew up with cash, credit cards, debit cards, but that's fairly new. Like people were trading like each like like a penny is copper, right? And then all the dollars were silver. Like that was like the thing, and we're so far away from that, but we don't realize that wasn't that long ago. That was, they took us off the gold system the day the Illuminati was founded, May 1st, which is
Hmm.
weird. And that wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago.
Man, there's a lot happening. I want to get your thoughts on the upcoming political sideshow that we're going to experience, and maybe some of the symbolism that you've seen leading up to everything that might indicate what we could experience.
Yeah, so we're coming up on the 47th president. This is very symbolic in Freemasonry. It's the 47 Masonic compass, going back even further to, I always pronounce it wrong, but Euclid's 47th proposition, problem, or whatever. Important number. America was created by Freemasons, and Washington, D.C. is on these Freemasonic lines. So the symbology is hands down important for America. The 47th president would be a very symbolic president. And who will that be? You know, it could be Kamala, even if she's not elected, because she has posted a lot of Freemasonic symbolism during her presidency, and the predictive programming of movies and shows like House of Cards or Veep, where there's a female 47th president. In House of Cards, the main president gets taken out, and then his wife becomes the president. So that could be symbolic predictive programming. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. But the 47th president, it's very symbolic for sure.
It seems like we have more of an effect on the outcome of everything than we could ever realize. I believe we are creator beings, and we, in a sense, can manifest outcomes in our reality. And it's going to be ultimately up to us to make our own future. We have to check out and stop relying on these other scumbags to create our reality when we have the power to do it. We've allowed them to be in office. We've consumed their poison. We've eaten their food. We participate in some of their agendas. We watch their Hollywood movies. And I think it's time that we need to start checking out from all of that and maybe making our own systems and movies and everything that we can rely on ourselves. And this is really what these times are forcing people to do. So it's like you said, I think there's something cosmic going on that's really leading us in this direction to ultimately free ourselves in a way.
Yeah, you know, it's like I said in the beginning, there's only two things that I am in control of, and that's my attitudes and my actions. That's it, you know. And so knowing that, I don't need to control other people like a tyrant. Like, oh, you got to believe what I believe. You got to think what I think. You know, I'm only in control of those two aspects. That's it. Like, so knowing that's wisdom. So I don't need to go and control the world. A lot of people, that's what they want to do. They want to control the way you think, even in the alternative truth world. It's more tyrannical sometimes than the mainstream world, because it's, you believe this, period. If you don't, you're done, right? Rather than dialogue, discourse, put the information out there. So it's very leftist. Like everything's pointing to this whole leftist ideology in my research so far. I mean, it could change, but that's not just me. That's other wicked smart people.
Right on. Doenut, this has been a delicious conspiracy buffet. Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to have to do this again for show. Now, before you head out, remind everyone where they can find all your delicious content.
You can find me at doe-nut.com, or just look it up on YouTube, DOENUT. Doenut.
Perfect. Awesome, man. We will do it again, like I said. And until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We'll talk again tomorrow. We'll see y'all then.